Happy Saturday, Bears fans. I'm Harrison Graham, host of Chicago Bears Now. Doing a little weekend getaway with my wife, and kind of wanted to hop on here and talk about today's Bears training camp practice, the second padded practice in a row. And I said happy Saturday at the start. Not so much if you're playing on the Bears offense right now, as two not-so-great practices for the offense, especially today. Yesterday was a little more up and down. Today, just not very good at all from all indications and reports out of Halas Hall. So we're going to talk about that heading into the off day tomorrow. But listen, on a little weekend getaway, still here, bringing you guys content. If you want to show love, show support, hit that subscribe button. We are less than 200 subscribers away from 95,000 here on the channel. I'd love to get there before the Hall of Fame game on Thursday. Can we make that happen? Help us out. Go ahead and subscribe. All right. Just not great stuff that you want to hear today from the offense. And listen, I want to predicate all this with it's early. It's still July. We're a week into training camp. Only the second padded practice. None of this is the end of the world, but just sloppy stuff. And I'll kind of explain as we go along. But let's start with the 7-on-7s. Caleb Williams back-to-back interceptions at one point, and to back up guys. Adrian Colbert had one, and Reddy Stewart, the undrafted free agent corner, picked him off as well. And Stewart had a strong day, and he was hyping up the defense. Could he be pushing for a roster spot? I know training camp always highlights undrafted free agents. Maybe he's someone in the mix. Obviously, corner is a crowded position on this team, but good for him going out there doing some good things. Caleb did bounce back after those two picks. Flus talks about that and finished 7-on-7 strong, so that was a positive. But the team drills just, they can't get out of their own way. For the second day in a row, the offense is just littered with pre-snap penalties. And Flus said today that yesterday's pre-snap penalties, false starts, etc., were more of a cadence issue. So, Caleb and the offensive line not necessarily being in sync on that, which, look, you're going to work through those kinks with a rookie quarterback early on in training camp. That's okay. Today, he said it was more of what the defense was doing. Andrew Billings was kind of getting the offensive line to jump with some verbal spatting and shifting on the defensive line, and that's just discipline stuff. Like, that's just mental errors from the offensive line, and that's the type of stuff that frustrates you even early on in camp. Like, look, Caleb's going to throw picks. He's going to make bad decisions. You're going to miss a block sometimes. Like, that stuff you can kind of live with, but you can't even get the play started over and over again. It has to get cleaned up. And again, it's July. It's a rookie quarterback. It's a new offense. Nate Davis got injured, so you're dealing with some shuffling on the offensive line. We'll talk about Davis in that situation in a minute, but it's just frustrating, man. It's really, really frustrating. And off day tomorrow. Flus said film review. Off day tomorrow. Got to get back after it Monday and bounce back if you're the offense, and that's the mentality you got to have. But through two training camp padded practices, my two biggest takeaways are, one, the defense is just way ahead of the offense, which you expected it to be ahead, but I think way ahead is fair to say at this point. When the pads were off, it was a little more back and forth with the defense slightly ahead, but pads on, advantage defense. And two, I would play Caleb Williams and at least a good chunk of the offensive starters in the Hall of Fame game, even if it's just for one drive, even if it is just to work on breaking the huddle and, making the checks at the line of scrimmage. I don't care if he hands the ball off 3 straight times and you punt and you pull him. I just think you got to get this offense some reps together. I really do. And why not take advantage of having this extra game, even if you are going to play the Texans in a month and a half. So, I don't want to overreact, but I don't want to underreact either and say it's not a big deal, because I think it's something that they got to clean up and they got to fix. And I want to hear from you guys. How concerned are you with the offense right now? Scale from 0 to 10. I go like 5.5, 6. Like, I'm mildly concerned, especially considering the first few days of the non-pads. We were hearing, the cadence stuff, that's been ironed out. That's mostly taken care of. And that is a work in progress, and I get that. But 2 days of padded practice and you're talking double-digit pre-snap penalties. The offensive line is, I'll say this, 5.5, 6 overall for the offense. O-line, I'm at about an 8.5. I'm concerned about the offensive line. I think the interior has real issues, and that was before Nate Davis got hurt. Flus said he strained something. He's day-to-day. Who knows how long that's going to be. What they did was put Coleman Shelton at center and Ryan Bates at right guard. I do wonder if that's the combination that eventually settles here, depending on what happens with Davis, who up to this point had been a full go at practice, so that's a positive, but it seems like something always pops up there. Braxton Jones has been in and out at left tackle. I don't know. I have concerns about the offensive line. Like, Connor Williams is technically still out there. I know reportedly he's been negotiating some with Seattle, but that deal's not done. Do you revisit that if you're Ryan Poles? And again, you don't want to overreact after a couple of days, but do you guys feel good about this offensive line right now? Penalties? Missing some blocks? I don't know. It's you want to put Caleb Williams in the best position to succeed early on here, and as great as the weaponry around him is if the offensive line is going to have major issues, that's going to limit how much you can do. And again, we're 6 weeks away from the regular season. We got a long way to go here. It's early on in camp, and they come back firing on all cylinders Monday. That's going to be great. But I don't think the last 2 days have been a trend in the right direction at this point in time. Some other notes I want to get to here is, what was I going to get to? Let me get my scroll here. Oh, even this. Even at the end of practice, 2-minute drill situation, couple of completions, moved a little bit but didn't score, but they still wanted to do some Cairo Santos situational late-game field goal kicking. Misses 3 straight 51-yard field goals. One day, Santos has been awesome here, but 3 in a row? Maybe it's just one of those days. I don't know. And that happens, but just not a great day of practice at Halas Hall. The good news is the defense looks really good, and that's what always makes training camp so tough to evaluate is like, how do you evaluate one side of the ball getting severely outplayed by the other? The problem is that it's the same side of the ball in Chicago. It's always the defense is way ahead of the offense. Now, again, I think throughout this offseason and early on in camp here, it's been a little more back and forth than in the past, and that's a positive. And you're seeing the talent of Caleb Williams. Like, I do think that's going to be an upgrade, but it would just be nice if we got reports one day at practice of the offense kicked the defense's ass. Like, wouldn't that be a nice change of pace? Because I'm not that concerned about the defense. You know, you could use another pass rusher, but Javon Dexter looks good so far. That's a really good sign. Sweat's been dominant. So dominant that he's kind of lost control a couple times and kind of bumped Caleb Williams, and Matt Eberflus pulled him from a drill today and said, look, you can't bump the quarterback, man. But you feel good about where he's at as your number one pass rusher, but you just want to see more consistency from the offense. And again, I'm not saying once the ball is snapped, you need to go out there and dominate every drill, but I mean, you're getting the tweet rundowns of these team drill sessions, and there's multiple false starts in like all of them. Back-to-back false starts on multiple occasions. You have back-to-back false starts in a game, you might as well punt on first down because not many teams in the NFL are built to erase a 1st and 20. Now, Caleb Williams might become one of those quarterbacks, but come on, man. You can't go backwards. You can't go backwards to start drives, and it just kills you. It absolutely kills you, and it's just something they got to clean up, which is why, I mean, who on the offensive line do you need to sit in a preseason game? Like Coleman Shelton, Darnell Wright, Ryan Bates, Braxton Jones, if he's fully healthy. These guys are not above playing in the Hall of Fame game. It's not like you got Trent Williams out there. It's like, hey, buddy, we'll see you week 1. You know, like get these guys out there with Caleb. If you want to sit DJ and Keenan, that's cool. Play Tyler Scott, Velus Jones, both who are having good camps. That is a positive. Scott and Velus have both been pretty good. Play Rome Odunze and go play a drive or two. I just don't see the downside. Like, yeah, if Caleb Williams blows his knee out, that would suck. But, like, that's going to be a risk anytime you put him in a preseason game. So I don't see why getting him out there, having to break the huddle, make some checks at the line of scrimmage, and running a few safe plays it has downside. I think there's upside to it. Like, get those reps and that experience for your rookie quarterback so you can start working out these kinks at the line of scrimmage that you're seeing take place in practice. And it sounds like it's more on the offensive line than the quarterback. Now, everything kind of starts with the center and the quarterback, so who knows? But it's just sloppy, man. That's the word of the day. Sloppy, 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 sloppy. And probably a good day to have an off day tomorrow. Sleep on it, rest up, and get back after it on Monday. You got 2 padded practices Monday, Tuesday. I would guess Tuesday's a little lighter with the game on Thursday. Walk through off day Wednesday and go lace them up Thursday against the Houston Texans. So that's going to do it for today's Bears training camp wrap-up. Not a great day for the offense, but it's one day. Don't want to overreact, but again, don't want to underreact either. I'm Harrison Graham. Please subscribe for more Bears content. Go check out my new YouTube channel, 4 Verts. I just broke down the Jordan Love and Tua Tagovailoa contract extensions and how I feel about those. NFL, college football coverage over there on a daily basis. So if you're into that sort of thing, go check it out. Link will be in the comments and description as well. We'll see you next time. Bear down.